Judge Rebecca Martinez sat behind her bench, reviewing the case file before her. 23 years on the bench had shown her everything, or so she thought. Each day brought new surprises, new disappointments, and occasionally, new hope. Today's docket showed a case that made her shake her head even before the parties entered. Williams versus Williams, a grandfather seeking child support from his own daughter. "Bring in the parties," she instructed her bailiff. The courtroom doors opened, and an elderly man walked in with measured steps. His pressed khaki pants and button-down shirt spoke of someone who took pride in his appearance despite his years. Behind him, a younger woman sauntered in, her designer purse swinging carelessly, her attention fixed on her phone screen. "Mr. Robert Williams?" Judge Martinez called out. "Yes, Your Honor," the man replied, his voice steady but tired. "And you must be Ms. Crystal Williams?" The younger woman looked up briefly from her phone. "Yeah, that's me." Judge Martinez's eyes narrowed. "Ms. Williams, in my courtroom we say yes, Your Honor, or no, Your Honor. We don't say yeah. Do you understand?" Crystal rolled her eyes slightly but responded, "Yes, Your Honor." "Good. Now, Mr. Williams, you've brought this case before me. Please explain your situation." Robert Williams cleared his throat, and Judge Martinez could see him gathering his composure. "Your Honor, I'm 72 years old. I worked for the city's transportation department for 31 years before I retired. I get a pension, nothing fancy, but enough for me to live comfortably. Or at least, it was enough before my daughter started using me as a full-time babysitter." "Go on," Judge Martinez encouraged. "She brings her 3 children to my house every single morning, Your Honor. Sometimes it's 6 in the morning, sometimes it's 8. She rings the doorbell, hands me the kids, and leaves. No diapers for the baby, no snacks for the older ones, no money for lunch or dinner. She just drops them and goes." "How often does this happen?" "Every day, Your Honor. 7 days a week. I can't remember the last time she kept her own children overnight at her place." Judge Martinez turned her attention to Crystal. "Ms. Williams, is what your father just said accurate?" Crystal shrugged. "I mean, he's making it sound worse than it is. That's not what I asked. Is it true that you take your children to your father's house daily?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Is it true that you leave them there without providing money, food, or supplies?" "I bring stuff sometimes." "Sometimes isn't what I asked, ma'am. Do you provide your father with regular financial support for caring for your children?" There was a long pause. "No, Your Honor." Judge Martinez leaned back in her chair, studying the young woman before her. "Ms. Williams, how old are your children?" "The oldest is 6, the middle one is 4, and the baby just turned 1. 3 children under 7 years old." "And where is their father or fathers?" "The oldest 2 have the same dad. He's locked up. The baby's dad is around sometimes." "Does he pay child support?" "When he feels like it." Judge Martinez made a note on her pad. "So you're receiving no regular child support from either father?" "No, Your Honor. And yet you drop these children off every day with your father." "Ms. Williams, what exactly do you do all day while your father is raising your children?" Crystal shifted her weight from one foot to the other. "I work." "What kind of work?" "Different things. I do hair sometimes, nails, makeup for events." "Are you licensed as a cosmetologist?" "No, Your Honor. I just learned from YouTube and stuff." Judge Martinez raised an eyebrow. "So you're operating an unlicensed business. How much income do you report on your taxes from this work?" "I don't really, it's cash business, so." "So you're not reporting income to the IRS?" 7ms. Williams, you're digging yourself a deeper hole with every answer. Let me ask you this. On average, how much cash do you bring in per month from your various activities? Crystal hesitated. "Maybe 3 or 4,000? From his position, Robert Williams scoffed. "Try 6 or 7, Your Honor. I've seen the cash she carries around. She bought a new car last month, paid cash for it. That wasn't no $3,000. Judge Martinez's expression hardened. "Ms. Williams, I'm going to ask you one more time, and I strongly suggest you tell me the truth. How much money do you make in an average month? Fine, maybe 6,000. But it varies. $6,000 a month in unreported income. And you can't give your father anything to help feed and clothe your 3 children? Judge Martinez's voice rose slightly. What exactly are you spending this money on? I have bills, Your Honor. Rent, car payment, clothes, my phone. Going out. Going out? You have money to go out while your elderly father is using his fixed retirement income to raise your children. He offered to help. Robert Williams spoke up, his voice cracking with emotion. I offered to babysit sometimes, Your Honor, not become the full-time parent. I raised my kids already. I did my job. I love my grandchildren, but this isn't fair. I'm eating rice and beans half the week because I can't afford groceries for 4 people on my pension. Judge Martinez felt her frustration mounting. In all her years on the bench, parental neglect and selfishness never ceased to amaze her. Mr. Williams, what exactly is your monthly pension? $2,200, Your Honor. After my rent, utilities, and medications, I have maybe $400 left for food and everything else. I can't do it. I've had to go to the food bank twice this month. The judge turned back to Crystal. Your father, a man who worked hard his entire life, who deserves to enjoy his retirement, is going to food banks because you won't take care of your own children. Does that make you feel proud? It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me, because from where I'm sitting, you look like someone who's taking advantage of an elderly man who happens to be your father. Crystal's face flushed. I need someone to watch them while I work. Daycare is expensive. So is raising 3 children, which is what your father is doing. Ms. Williams, do your children receive any government benefits? They get food stamps and Medicaid. How much in food stamps? Like $700 a month. And where does that $700 in food stamps go? To buy food. For whom? Crystal didn't answer immediately. Ms. Williams, I asked you a question. Who eats the food you buy with those $700 in food stamps? Me and my boyfriend. The courtroom fell silent. Judge Martinez closed her eyes briefly, gathering her patience. Let me make sure I understand this correctly. You receive $700 per month in food stamps that are meant to feed your 3 children. But your 3 children are at your father's house eating his food, on his retirement budget, while you and your boyfriend eat the food purchased with benefits meant for your kids. Is that accurate? When you say it like that, is it accurate? Judge Martinez's voice was sharp. Yes, Your Honor. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Judge Martinez shook her head. Mr. Williams, I apologize that you've had to deal with this. No parent should have to come to court to force their own child to take responsibility. She pulled up the child support calculator on her computer. Ms. Williams, since you won't voluntarily tell me your true income, I'm going to make some calculations based on what I've heard. You admitted to $6,000 per month, but your father suggests it's closer to $7,000. Given that you paid cash for a vehicle recently, and you're supporting not only yourself but apparently a boyfriend as well, I'm going to estimate your income at $7,500 per month, which amounts to $90,000 per year. Crystal's eyes widened. That's not. Don't interrupt me. Based on an income of $90,000 per year, your net monthly income would be approximately $6,000 after taxes, if you were paying taxes, which you're not. With 3 children, the standard child support obligation in this state is 25% of net income. That comes to $1,500 per month.
$1,500.
Crystal nearly shouted. Yes, $1,500. That's $500 per child, which is actually quite reasonable considering food, clothing, school supplies, and medical needs. But we're not done yet. Judge Martinez continued typing. Your children receive Medicaid benefits because you're not providing them with health insurance. The state is entitled to reimbursement for those benefits when a parent has the income to support their children. That's an additional 10% of your income, which comes to $600 per month. Furthermore, the judge continued, her voice growing sterner. You're receiving $700 in food stamps for children who aren't eating the food those benefits purchase. I'm ordering you to either provide those food stamp benefits directly to your father in the form of a grocery store gift card each month, or I'll report you for food stamp fraud. Do you understand? Crystal's face had gone pale. Yes, Your Honor. So let's add this up. $1,500 in child support, $600 in Medicaid reimbursement, and $700 in food stamp benefits that need to go to your father. That's $2,800 per month total that you need to be providing for your children's care. I can't afford that. Judge Martinez's expression was ice cold. You can't afford to take care of your own children? Then perhaps we need to discuss whether your father should have legal custody. Would you prefer that?
No.
Your Honor, please. Then you need to figure it out. You're making enough money. The problem is your priorities. You'd rather spend money on yourself and your boyfriend than on your own kids. Robert Williams spoke quietly. Your Honor, I don't want to take her children away from her. I just want her to help and maybe actually be a mother to them. Judge Martinez nodded. Mr. Williams, you're a better person than many would be in your situation. Here's what I'm going to order. Ms. Williams, you will pay your father $1,500 per month in child support, effective immediately. You will also provide $600 per month as reimbursement for the Medicaid benefits your children receive. And you will ensure that the full $700 in food stamp benefits goes directly to your father for the children's food needs. But, Your Honor, I'm not finished. Additionally, you will be required to keep your children at your own residence at least 3 nights per week. Your father deserves a break, and your children deserve to have their mother in their lives. You will also enroll in parenting classes through the county's Family Services program. Crystal looked like she wanted to argue but remained silent. Furthermore, Judge Martinez continued, I'm going to order you to meet with a tax attorney. You need to get your income reporting in order. The IRS doesn't play games, and eventually, they will catch up with you. It's better to get ahead of it now. The judge looked at both parties. Mr. Williams, I'm sorry you've had to go through this. You should be enjoying your retirement, not raising young children again. However, I can see that you love your grandchildren, and they're lucky to have you. She turned back to Crystal. Ms. Williams, I want you to understand something. Your father won't be around forever. One day, you're going to regret not spending more time with your children when they were young. You're going to regret taking advantage of a man who only wanted to help you. And when that day comes, it will be too late. I know, Your Honor, Crystal said quietly, tears beginning to form in her eyes. I hope you do, because right now your actions don't show it. You have 3 beautiful children who need their mother. Not just someone to drop them off and pick them up, but a real mother who's present in their lives, who makes sacrifices for them, who puts their needs before her own desires. Judge Martinez softened her tone slightly. I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying this because I've seen too many cases like yours. Parents who wake up one day and realize their children are grown, and they missed it all. Don't let that be you. Yes, Your Honor. The payment schedule will begin on the 1st of next month. I'm also ordering a review hearing in 6 months. At that time, I want to see evidence that you've been making your payments, that you've been spending time with your children, and that you've completed the parenting classes. If you've made progress, we can discuss adjusting the arrangement. If you haven't, I'll be forced to consider other options. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Williams, do you have any questions about this order? No, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. Williams, do you have any questions? No, Your Honor. Good. Then let me be very clear about one final thing. If I find out that you're not making these payments, or if you're retaliating against your father in any way for bringing this case, I will hold you in contempt of court. That means jail time. I don't want to see you back here for the wrong reasons. Use these next 6 months to get your life together and become the mother your children deserve. Judge Martinez gathered her papers. This court is adjourned. Bailiff, please provide both parties with copies of the order. As the parties began to leave, Judge Martinez called out, Ms. Williams. Crystal turned back. Yes, Your Honor? Happy Mother's Day. The words hung in the air, heavy with irony and hope, a reminder of what she should be and what she could become. As the courtroom cleared, Judge Martinez made a note in the file. Another family in crisis, another attempt to set things right. She wondered, as she often did, whether her words would make a difference. Would Crystal Williams change her ways? Would she step up and become the mother her children needed? Only time would tell. But at least now, Robert Williams would have some help. At least now, those 3 children would have the resources they needed. And sometimes, Judge Martinez reflected, that was all the court could do, create the conditions for change and hope that people would rise to the occasion. She called for the next case, ready to face whatever human drama would walk through her courtroom doors next. Because that's what justice was, one case at a time, one family at a time, trying to make things a little bit better than they were before. 6 months later, Crystal Williams returned to Judge Martinez's courtroom for her review hearing. The change was visible immediately. She carried herself differently, less defiant, more humble. She had made every payment on time, completed her parenting classes with excellent marks, and had been keeping her children 4 nights a week instead of the required 3. Most importantly, she had enrolled in a legitimate cosmetology program and was working toward her license. She had also begun the process of filing her taxes properly and setting up a payment plan for back taxes owed. Robert Williams stood beside his daughter, and there was something different in how they stood together, not as adversaries, but as family. "Your Honor," Crystal began, "I want to thank you. I didn't see it then, but you were right. I was being selfish. I was taking advantage of my father and neglecting my kids. These past 6 months have been hard, but they've been good. I've gotten to know my children again. Really know them." Judge Martinez smiled, a rare sight in her courtroom. "Ms. Williams, I'm proud of the progress you've made. Keep it up. Your children deserve the best version of you, and it sounds like they're finally getting it." As they left the courtroom, Judge Martinez allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Not every case ended this way, but when they did, it reminded her why she wore the robe, to help people find their way back to what mattered most. Justice, after all, wasn't just about punishment. Sometimes it was about redemption.